one of the things that moves me and intrigues me about the way I hear you talk about pleasure is the way I hear it is that it's almost like a compass,
Mm-hmm.
like something that actually gives you direction,
Mm-hmm.
right? Which is counter, which is counter to both of us grew up Catholic, right? In very different cultural contexts, but
Yes,
the
yes.
same kind of religious ideology.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know about you, but for me, certainly the way I grew up, the way pleasure was actually something to be weary of. It was something that could
Mm-hmm.
seduce me out of the path.
Mm-hmm.
And so, how do you go from that kind of background? Maybe it didn't impact you as much
Mm-hmm.
into the idea that no, the opposite is true. That
Yeah.
it's actually a compass.
Yeah, yeah. Oh, thank you for that question. I do name that there, many reasons why religion, one of them, and culture, why many of us are very wary of pleasure. And actually, Adrienne and Amita speak very eloquently about it, and others. Um, for me, it came as a survival, um, a way to survive, and I'll explain. I came from this country at 28, from Singapore, and through a series of very fortuitous circumstances, I became a speaker, teacher, facilitator in leadership development, and I had a national and a global stage. Um, so I was living the dream, the dream, independent consultant in the U.S., in the USA,
Mhm.
But I slowly started feeling losing my passion for the work that I was doing, and losing passion turned to I don't want to do resistance. I don't want to do this anymore. Lack of motivation. Um, but what happened is I started getting very upset with myself for not being happy with the dream that I was living. And I forced myself to continue on the track, of pleasing my mentors and saying yes to projects that I was not interested in because they were very prestigious, exciting. And I ended up depressed in a nervous breakdown after 5 years of forcing myself to live the dream,
Mhm. Mhm.
depressed. And then, one day I was lying in bed, I couldn't get out, and either God or goddess, probably goddess, spoke to me and said, you have everything, basics, food, shelter, health, love, family, and you're unhappy. That's a little bit rude. It's a bit rude that you have so much and you're unhappy. And then it came to me, I said, I did a lot of workshops in between about purpose, find your purpose, do some diagrams, some charts, tell some stories from your past to find your purpose. And what's my purpose? What's my purpose? And I couldn't find, I said, I'm not going to find my purpose. I'm just going to enjoy myself so that I'm not rude. I don't want to be rude to God. I don't want to be rude to the goddess. After all these gifts that have been given to me, I do not want to be rude by being unhappy. I've done it for 5 years, no more. So I said, I'm going to use pleasure as my compass.
Mhm.
And even if it doesn't make sense, even if it's not a goal, even if it's not, I was on my knees.
Mhm.
I said, I just think I'm going to do what gives me pleasure. And that's where it started.